It's perfectly natural to want to help your partner achieve a truly satisfying experience in an intimate relationship. I'm Dr. Naraya Wolf. Today, I'd like to discuss a sensitive but important topic: scientifically proven positions that actually help women achieve orgasm. Many people are curious about this topic, but often don't know where to get accurate information. The internet is overflowing with information, but much of it lacks scientific basis, or is based solely on personal experience. So today, I want to share with you reliable information backed by actual research. Many men want to provide their partners with the best experience during sex. This is a beautiful sentiment. However, it can sometimes be confused by misinformation or exaggerated information from the media. Let's explore which positions truly enhance female satisfaction. And surprisingly, some positions that many people believe are effective are not scientifically proven to be true. Before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. Every woman is different. Each woman has different preferences and different body responses. While what I'm talking about today is based on scientific research, it doesn't mean it applies equally to every woman. Always remember that communication with your partner is paramount. Now, let's start with the first position that has been scientifically proven to be consistently effective. This is the classic missionary position, where a pillow or cushion is placed under the woman's buttocks. Many of you might be thinking, oh, that position? But when you understand the science behind why this position is so effective, it's a completely different story. The biggest advantage of this position is the angle. By slightly raising the woman's buttocks with the pillow, the angle of the pelvis changes, allowing the man's pubic bone to more directly contact the woman's clitoris. This is important because most women achieve orgasm through clitoral stimulation. Studies show that more than 70% of women struggle to reach orgasm without it. But the key here is that it's not just about moving up and down. This is a common misconception among many men. They believe that fast, powerful piston movements bring greater pleasure to women. However, this isn't true. Slow, close-knit movements, rubbing back and forth, are much more effective. During these movements, the man's pubic bone continuously stimulates the woman's clitoris. Simultaneously, the vagina is also stimulated, creating what's known as dual stimulation. When external clitoral stimulation and internal vaginal stimulation occur simultaneously, the woman's pleasure increases exponentially. This is why this position has been scientifically proven to be effective. Another important factor is emotional connection. This position allows for face-to-face, eye-to-eye contact. Numerous studies have shown that emotional connection significantly influences a woman's sexual arousal and satisfaction. Making eye contact, seeing each other's facial expressions, and feeling each other's breathing all contribute to amplifying physical pleasure. In fact, a study of hundreds of women reported that a significant number of women were able to reach orgasm when the man, propped up on a pillow, continued to rub their clitoris. This study was not simply a survey, but was based on data reported immediately after intercourse, making it highly reliable. What I want to emphasize here is that rhythm and pressure are more important than speed. While many men believe faster and harder is better, stimulating the clitoris with a steady rhythm and appropriate pressure is actually much more effective. Like waves surging and receding, this steady rhythm helps the woman's body build toward orgasm. Now let's talk about the second scientifically proven position, the woman leaning forward on top. This position is also known as the cowgirl forward lean, or a variation of the coital alignment technique, and it also has some interesting scientific evidence. First, let's look at the basic structure of this position. The woman is on top, leaning forward toward the man. This position brings the woman's clitoris into contact with the man's pubic bone, naturally stimulating the clitoris as she moves back and forth. Just like the first position, this position also creates dual stimulation. Another advantage of this position is that the woman has control over her movements. She can find the angle and rhythm that works best for her. Even a slight change in angle can change the area receiving stimulation, and by adjusting the speed, she can find the intensity that suits her. This autonomy greatly helps women reach orgasm. However, some men don't particularly enjoy this position. They feel they lack control or are forced to play a passive role, making it uncomfortable. However, there's a solution. In fact, even in this position, the man can play a very active role. When the woman leans forward from above, the man can grasp her hips or waist with both hands and guide her movements. He can intentionally pull her toward him or create a rhythm. This action is not only physically beneficial, but also psychologically powerful. Women experience greater arousal when they feel desired and when they feel a man actively desires and leads them. This can be explained by evolutionary psychology, as the female brain responds to a partner's assertiveness and confident behavior. Therefore, just because a woman is on top doesn't mean the man must be passive. Rather, actively guiding and leading while simultaneously giving the woman autonomy is the essence of this position. This position also has the advantage of allowing face-to-face eye contact, which maintains emotional connection. When the woman leans in, their faces become closer, allowing for kissing and whispering. This intimacy significantly enriches physical pleasure. Actually, research data shows that these two positions have the highest rates of orgasm for women. However, I want to share something I've learned from my years of working with patients. What's scientifically proven effective and what's actually experienced in real life can differ. While these two positions are clearly effective, what happens if you use the same ones all the time? No matter how good something is, repetition can make it familiar, and once it becomes familiar, it needs new stimulation. This is how the human brain works. Our brains are wired to respond to novelty and unpredictability. That's why variety is important. While you should keep the two positions I mentioned as your basic repertoire, I encourage you to experiment with others as well. Because sex isn't just about reaching orgasm. Of course, orgasm is important, but the pleasure of the process itself, the fun of exploring each other, and the unexpected excitement, all of these things enrich intimate relationships. Experiencing different positions also sends a message to your partner: I value our time together and want to keep trying new things. And when you confidently guide your partner's body into various positions, that spontaneity and initiative are incredibly attractive. Women find men more attractive when they are confident and proactive. This isn't something I've invented. It's a fact confirmed through countless studies and counseling experiences. Of course, being proactive doesn't mean being one-sided or coercive. This means carefully observing your partner's reactions and confidently leading from there. Varying positions during sex can maintain excitement and break free from predictability. The very anticipation of what's next can increase arousal. So, while using the two scientifically proven positions I mentioned as a foundation, help your partner reach orgasm, and feel free to experiment with other positions for excitement, passion, and freshness. Here, I want to highlight one crucial factor that affects all positions and situations: blood flow. This is something many people overlook, but in reality, nothing is more crucial to sexual function than blood flow. Regardless of the position, if blood flow to the genitals is inadequate, arousal and orgasm become much more difficult. This applies not only to men, but also to women. Both men and women possess erectile tissue, and a sufficient blood supply to this tissue is essential for maximum pleasure and sensation. It's well known that in men, erections are directly linked to blood flow, but the same holds true for women. During arousal, the clitoris and vaginal tissues swell with blood, increasing sensitivity. Without sufficient blood flow, this engorgement doesn't occur properly, leading to dull sensation and difficulty reaching orgasm. However, one thing many people don't know is that as we age, our bodies naturally produce less nitric oxide. Just as hormone production declines with age, so does nitric oxide. The same is true. Nitric oxide acts as a vasodilator, relaxing and dilating blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more freely. Increased blood flow to the genitals allows erectile tissue to expand more easily, resulting in stronger sensations and more intense experiences. This applies to both men and women. Therefore, maintaining healthy blood vessels and good blood flow is crucial for sexual health. There are several ways to improve blood flow. Regular exercise, especially aerobic exercise, is very beneficial for vascular health. A healthy diet, adequate sleep, and stress management all affect blood flow. Smoking should be avoided at all costs, as it constricts blood vessels and impedes blood flow. Certain nutrients also support vascular health and nitric oxide production. For example, amino acids like l-citrulline are known to promote nitric oxide production in the body. Consuming these nutrients through food or supplements can also help improve blood flow. Healthy blood flow goes beyond simply achieving an erection or arousal. It's linked to overall sexual satisfaction. Sufficient blood flow increases sensation, amplifies pleasure, and increases the intensity of orgasm. So, please remember that basic physical health is just as important as positions and techniques. Now let me talk about a position that I personally found a bit disappointing. This position is incredibly visually stimulating and sexy, and a favorite among many men. It's often featured in pornography and is generally associated with powerful masculine imagery. However, the scientific research results were surprising. Before I get into that, I want to clarify something. When I explain this position, some of you might say, "No, doctor, that can't be true. My partner makes noises and seems to really enjoy it when I do it. He even tells me to keep going." Yes, that's true. Your partner is definitely feeling some sensation. He's experiencing intense stimulation deep inside his vagina. But the important question here is, does that sensation lead to orgasm? Experiencing intense sensation and actually reaching orgasm are two different things. Studies show that this position had the lowest rate of women reporting orgasm. Ready? It's the doggy position. Yes, that's right. This position, favored by many men and also visually stimulating, had the lowest rate of orgasm for women. When I first saw this data, I was a little surprised. In my clinical practice, many male patients report that they really enjoy this position, and their partners seem to enjoy it too. But seemingly enjoying it and actually reaching orgasm are two different things. Why is this position so rarely achieving orgasm? Scientifically, it's because two key elements are missing. The first is the lack of emotional connection. In this position, there's no face-to-face contact. Since the woman is facing away, she can't directly see the man's eyes, facial expressions, or body. As mentioned earlier, emotional connection plays a significant role in women's sexual arousal and satisfaction. Making eye contact, reading each other's facial expressions, and experiencing such intimacy play a crucial role in women's orgasms. Of course, some women can be satisfied with physical stimulation alone without this emotional connection. However, research has shown that emotional factors are crucial for the majority of women. The second and more important scientific reason is the lack of clitoral stimulation. In the doggy position, the clitoris is barely stimulated. While a man can reach out and stimulate it directly, the position itself doesn't naturally stimulate the clitoris. As previously emphasized, most women achieve orgasm through clitoral stimulation. The clitoris is the most nerve-dense part of the female reproductive system and is derived from the same tissue as the male glands, making it particularly sensitive and crucial for orgasm. Numerous studies have proven that women experience the most intense orgasms when clitoral and vaginal stimulation occur simultaneously. However, this dual stimulation doesn't occur in the doggy position. While the vagina can be deeply stimulated, the clitoris is structurally very sensitive. So even if your partner makes sounds and appears aroused, they often don't actually reach orgasm. While they may experience intense sensations and enjoy the experience in and of themselves, it's difficult to build those sensations to the point of orgasm. Some women do reach orgasm in this position. Some women can achieve orgasm with just deep vaginal stimulation, while others rely on physical stimulation alone, even without emotional connection. Statistically, however, these women are in the minority. The majority find it easier to orgasm when clitoral stimulation and emotional connection are combined. So, should you avoid this position altogether? Of course not. It has its own benefits and can be enjoyed as part of a variety of sexual experiences. However, understand that this position alone is unlikely to bring your partner to orgasm, so it's best to combine it with other positions. For example, you could start in this position, build up arousal, and then transition to another position that allows for clitoral stimulation. Alternatively, you could manually stimulate the clitoris or use a tool like a vibrator. The key is to include clitoral stimulation in some way. What I want to emphasize here is that simply knowing this information will make you a better partner. What I want to emphasize here is that simply knowing this information will make you a better partner. Many men often assume their partner will be equally satisfied in their preferred positions, but this may not be the case. Understanding this difference and genuinely prioritizing your partner's pleasure is the beginning of a truly mature relationship. Let's summarize. The two positions scientifically proven to be most effective for female orgasm are the missionary position with a pillow under the woman's buttocks and the position where the woman leans forward on top. Both positions offer both clitoral stimulation and the emotional connection of face-to-face contact. On the other hand, the doggy position, favored by many men, lacks both of these elements and thus has the lowest rate of orgasm. However, this doesn't mean doggy position should be completely ruled out. Variety is still important, and combining positions is the best option. Use two scientifically proven positions as your base to help your partner reach orgasm, but actively. Experiment with other positions to maintain excitement, passion, and freshness. Most importantly, communicate with your partner. Be open about what works for you and what stimulation you desire. Also, remember that basic physical health is just as important as positions and techniques. Regular exercise, a healthy diet, adequate sleep, and stress management all improve blood flow and enhance sexual function. Smoking, in particular, damages blood vessels and can have a significant negative impact on sexual function, so please avoid it. The next time you're intimate with your partner, try applying the tips we've discussed today. Focus on clitoral stimulation, maintain emotional connection through face-to-face contact, maintain a steady rhythm, and carefully observe your partner's responses. Above all, create an environment where your partner can comfortably express their needs. Sex isn't just a physical act. It's a process of expressing and deepening intimacy between two people. The most important thing is to truly value each other's pleasure and strive to create better experiences together. I sincerely hope that your sexual health and intimacy with your partner will become more abundant. I hope you found today's discussion helpful, and if you have any questions or would like to learn more, please feel free to contact us. A healthy sex life is an important part of improving your quality of life. Don't be shy, and if necessary, seek professional help. Sexual health counseling or couples therapy can provide substantial support to many couples. I hope you take good care of yourself today and nurture a warm relationship with your partner. I believe that the most beautiful form of intimacy is a relationship that grows together with mutual respect and consideration. I wish you good health and happiness.